Good morning. This is Amy Gaskin with Ask Amy About Aging, and today I'm here with Vince Ehrenberg, the creator of PERICHAIR, the one chair that does it all, the only bathroom safety equipment you'll ever need. So everyone, welcome Vincent Ehrenberg. So Vincent, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I became a primary caregiver literally overnight for a family member. He had vascular dementia. He wouldn't let anybody else touch him except me, so I was with him 24/7. Really hard procedure, but I found that the worst or the hardest part of the day was I had to do with the bathroom, the whole bathroom process. I wondered why they didn't have better options out there that made the process easier. I continuously thought of my mom's friends that were taking care of each other. One in particular, I asked him how he was doing it. His wife had, sorry, it's escaping me right now, but Parkinson's, I'm sorry. And he said that she was still able to clean herself, but so they put a shower chair in there, but at the end, she'd have to stand up and hold a handrail, and he would come in and clean her. And to me, that sounds like an accident waiting to happen. I've heard a lot of similar stories. If you're standing up in the soapy water and you don't have the arm strength that you used to, if you do slip, even if you're holding on to a grab bar.
Exactly. So what are the specifications of the chair? What makes your chair unique?
My chair is unique in several different facets. It's the only chair that you'll need from the beginning of the process to the end of the process. Me coming in as a caregiver overnight, I didn't know what the process entailed. And we went through several pieces of equipment depending on his mobility. And they were all non-functional. Again, I couldn't believe what was out there. When I would have to wash the individual and I had help, I'd have to step across the tub and lift them. So the other person, dangerous for both of us. But my chair makes it so you never have to stand because the unique seat design and the unique frame where it's open on the front and the back gives you better access to the perineum. You don't have to stand in the shower because you can get underneath yourself without having to stand. So you're not standing up in soapy water. You can rinse everything off before you get up to get out of the shower.
Why don't you show us the chair?
Well, I have it in the transfer bench position here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Why don't you explain a little bit about how it works?
Yeah, this is set up as the transfer position, and if you notice two wheels. Can you see the wheels? I'm sorry, Amy.
Yes.
Okay, so you can see that this moves around, but as soon as you sit down, they're self-locking wheels, so you don't have to remember if you have top locks or anything like that. They're self-locking wheels.
I like that. That makes it very. You've thought of a lot of different.
Yeah, people are going to forget, and then you don't have to balance on one foot and try and lock it or unlock it. So once you're in position, this arm comes up and locks, so they feel a little bit more secure in there, and they have a second arm. They're always, they're vulnerable. They're naked. In my case, he didn't know who anybody really was or what was going on. and they're scared. So by bringing this arm up, which no transfer bench has, they can feel a little more secure holding on to both sides. And I don't know if you can tell. Sorry. I have the chair is slightly off center in the tub, and it's closer to my side of the tub, so it's easier for the caregiver. They don't have to lean over as far, and so it prevents the caretaker from getting hurt. The possibility. So again, it's slightly off center, so the caregiver has easier access as opposed to coming further.
That makes a lot of sense. It's nice that you took into consideration the caregiver as well as the individual being assisted.
Right. Well, that was from my situation. I was thinking of it. Obviously, I was thinking for the individual, but so this arm pulls up, and then this lock comes down and tucks underneath the chair, so there's nothing hanging. Sorry to keep moving around.
That's okay.
And this also, what is unique about this is that it also is a bedside commode. It's top loaded, so
Nice.
they don't have to look for any rail or anything underneath. Because the seats stay up like this, you only need one hand with the commode bucket. If you have water in it or you're taking it out, you only need the one hand. You don't have to try and hold these up. These are pins that just lift out, and the back can be switched to the other side. And because the unique frame is the same, the seat design, so this would be for left shower. You could switch it over here to a right shower, so you don't have to order different chairs.
That's cool. I was wondering about that. I was like, oh, what happens if the shower's on the other side? And you answered that right away.
Right.
It's very cool.
Yeah. And then
it's very easy no matter how, to get in and out.
Yeah, there's no tools to assemble this. They're all pins like this that come out very easily. So I don't have the proper pins. Again, this is just the finished prototype. This isn't the final product, but so there's a pin release. Sorry. And the arm slides up and tilt it and bring it right out. Sorry. Were you able to see that?
Yes. That makes it very easy to get it in and out, even if you can't lift things. I like that.
Yeah.
And then it's on wheels, so you can wheel it to the bedroom to put it by the bedside as a commode, or bring it back over to the toilet if that's where you want to store it. I like it because so many of these products on the market, you have to buy multiple to do anything. So you need one for bathing, one for a commode, one to make it go over a toilet, and they're not easy to move from room to room. But yours is very easy to move from room to room and to maneuver. I like that.
Yeah, my goal obviously was to keep the individual at home as long as possible, to keep their independence, their dignity, and as long as possible. But then it goes to, at some point, the caretaker. So obviously I took that into account, the caregiver. And I thought about people at home, like I say, my mom's friends and things like that. But then the more I learned about the business, I mean, there are a lot of in-home healthcare companies. I know there's some big companies that want me to bring them to them. I think the VA care coordinator reached out to me because I'm made in America. It's 100% made in America, and I work with all family-owned businesses.
Nice.
All the way down to my
like
stickers.
I like that, made in America, and working with locals, right here. And I hope that I think any home care agency would want to use it to save the backs of their caregivers. Any family would want to use it if they're caring for their loved one. Do you have any other advice if you're caring for some of our listeners who are maybe new to taking care of someone with vascular dementia? We can set up another time to say, so you can give us some advice on how you dealt with situations, etc. I'm very impressed with your product. The fact that you had cared for for Papa for 5 years is very impressive, and a lot of families that are taking care of loved ones feel alone. And they don't feel that there's the right products out there to take care of their loved ones. And it's nice to know that people like you are out there creating products to make life easier, not only for the caregiver, but for the aging loved ones.
Thank you. The only advice I could probably, because I did feel alone, I think we need to push out like what you're doing and educate. People, I call them the sandwich generation. I don't know if you've heard the term, but it's people that have kids, but they have an elderly parent. In this case, he was in my home as well. So I think the education is very important. Like I say, I went through all these different pieces. I didn't know. We went through 5 different pieces. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I made the original PERICHAIR out of his equipment that we weren't using. And I used it at the end of his life when he had no mobility. And it was just unbelievable. So that's what I'm driven by, is to share this and help other people. But I think if we can continue to educate the sandwich generation, the individuals, and let them know there's better choices. It really frustrated me with what was out there.
Right. It frustrates many. So I'm glad that the VA reached out to you, and I hope many others reach out to you, because I know this is going to be a hit.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you very much for coming on my show today. Again, this is Amy K. Gaskin with Ask Amy About Aging, and Vince is here talking about the PERICHAIR. I'll talk to you soon, Vince, but thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, Amy.
Have a great day, everyone.